Yo, what's up? In this video, we're going to be talking about how getting out of debt can help get out of addiction. Stay tuned. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Sobriety University. On this channel, we talk about addiction and recovery related topics. And in this video, we're gonna be talking about how getting out of addiction can simultaneously help get out of debt. So why did I decide to make this video? Well, getting out of debt has been something I've been working on for quite a while now. And I had a lot of financial struggles, especially when I was using, kind of for obvious reasons that I'm gonna talk about in this video. And what I found was that once I quit the addiction, I really had to start focusing on like the kind of regular human things of life, like paying bills, keeping a job, all that. And because now that I wasn't copiously using drugs and alcohol and other substances, I realized that, okay, now I can kind of focus on what I want in life. And to be honest, a lot of that does require some money because life's not cheap. And as much as sometimes I wish I could go be a nomad and just like chill on the beach somewhere and not do anything ever, that's kind of not reality. And I really had to focus on getting back on track career-wise, financial-wise. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So before we begin, I would appreciate any likes and subscriptions. Feel free to comment down below what your experience has been with addiction and debt and how those two maybe have combined for you. So number one is going to be saving money from not spending it on drugs and alcohol. Kind of obvious, right? And that's just it. Like, I was spending so much money on drugs, alcohol, because that stuff's expensive, especially like, for example, like in the heydays, going out every weekend, spending money on booze, then obviously picking up weed, smoking weed throughout the week, maybe going out once or twice on the weekdays. That really added up, and it made a lot of sense why I didn't have money when I quit. Especially too because often when I would drink or smoke and stuff, I would want to get food, so I'd go out to eat, go get munchies. And if I did that in a whole weekend, if I did that twice, before I knew it, I was out $40 from just food. I was out maybe $100 from the weed. I was out maybe $40-50 from the alcohol, and I was definitely not making bank. That was one of the reasons why I got into drugs and alcohol in the first place, is because I felt insecure about not having a great job or not having a lot of money or wealth. And so it just kind of started creating a downward spiral, a downward snowball. And again, when I started to quit drugs and alcohol, I found that I was able to hold on a job, and I was saving again, like maybe up to $200 a week from not using. And I could start using that to pay a bill, to eat food, healthy food and stuff. And so that started another snowball in the opposite direction that has led to many more results, including getting out of debt, which was the ultimate goal in the first place. Number two is friends start to change. So this one's kind of goes back into number one. And when friends begin to change, like, there's a saying, vibe attracts tribe. And so what I found, and this is no dig on the friends, because I mean, we all did it. It's like, what else would you do in that situation, in that time of life? What we do is we do what I just talked about in number one, go out and party all the time. And of course, when all the friends are partying, all of the friends are spending money, it's like, I don't want to be the oddball out. Of course I'm going to go spend money as well. Money maybe I didn't have, maybe money I had to rack up on a credit card. And once I got clean, I found like, okay, well, I'm going to start hanging out with people that don't spend copious amounts of money, that they invest, that they put money aside, that they can pay their bills. And of course, again, in the same token, I was like, I want to fit in with these guys now. And that meant having some different habits that needed changing to fit in with that crowd. And of course, like, I didn't want to be the one that was like copiously addicted to spending money. Like, obviously they wouldn't have accepted me in their group anyway, because they'd be like, okay, this guy's kind of a bad habit guy, and our group over here is like focusing on, you know, healthy habits that make us live longer and increase our longevity. We're not going to let this guy in our tribe because he doesn't attract our vibe. And so in turn, once I started to change those, then I started getting in the other vibe. So again, it's kind of like, it's a little toxic, I guess, and maybe needing to fit in. However, like, why not? Like, it's just a human condition. So my perspective was like, why not just use that for healthy things instead of destructive things? And so the third and final thing I found that is super helpful about getting out of debt and in correlation quitting addiction was that I could start to see things a little more clearly, which meant I could kind of process the trauma behind money that I had growing up. Because I had some dysfunctional beliefs about money, like money grows on trees, or money doesn't grow on trees. There's not an abundance of money. Rich people are rich people, and that's it. And once I was able to start addressing these, I was like, okay, there's an abundance of money out there in the universe. It's available for everyone that just puts in the work. Why can't I be one of those people? And in turn, I started to attract more money into life. Like I started getting better jobs, started being willing to work more. I think I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. Just the fact that one's no longer spending hours and hours on an addiction, especially when it can get really deep and dark, like using like every single day, 24 hours. That's what I was doing with weed. And then of course, like going out on the weekends, spending all the weekends partying and stuff. It's like, holy crap. What I realized is I have a shit ton of time in life, in the day. Now that I'm not just wasting it partying and stuff, I can actually like work like a good amount. And so I started picking up extra side hustles and stuff, and that all brought more money into life, created more opportunities. And now I have opportunities where I can put in those 40 hours and make a nice chunk of change, and then have even more hours to, if I want to continue to do the side hustles and then bring in more cash. For the last couple of years I've been doing that, and then in turn putting that all towards debt, and recently got out of debt. So again, just the snowball effect started to compound again in the direction that, well, most people want, instead of the destructive one that leads to no money. Also was able to like kind of start studying some of the people in life that have a lot of money. So like Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey, these are all guys on YouTube and stuff. And they really talk about like really healthy money habits, like getting into savings, like investing, putting money in an emergency fund, all those things. Of course I never did when I was using. Some other ones include not buying stuff whenever I want, having a budget. And because I started to implement those habits, I was able to have a ton of extra cash laying around that I could start throwing towards debt. And in turn, I wasn't spending it all. Everything I was making, I guess in turn I was spending it to pay off debt. One of the guys, Dave Ramsey, he really talks about the importance of not having a credit card. Now this is a hot button debate. Some people say, you know, who cares, like you can get points and stuff. His perspective is kind of like whoever got rich ever made it off points, and they made it off obviously going out and making money. And again, having an addictive personality, I think the key is that credit cards just aren't good for me. Like for some people that don't have this addictive personality, that haven't really struggled with money and are just kind of really responsible with it, I can see how a credit card would be just fine. Like it would serve them well. They could like save up travel points and all that, especially if they travel and stuff, and they don't have to worry about running it over or spending too much because they just have those habits, maybe from childhood or whatever. Personally, at least right now where I'm at, I don't technically trust myself having a credit card. I could see, well, let's say that's not true. I do. I just don't want to risk the same with like, it'd be like walking around with the beer every day. Like I'm probably not going to drink the beer. However, I could drink the beer, and all it takes is days and weeks of thinking about the beer to one day be like, screw it, I'm going to crack the beer. And that could be like with the credit card. Like maybe I'll have it in the wallet and I'll be really disciplined for like 3 months, and then one day I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to use the credit card, buy something nice, I'll pay it back. And then before I know it, months go by, I haven't paid it back, and I'm right back where I started in debt. And so just knowing the addictive personality, I don't think credit cards are a great idea. I stick with the debit card. Then I know the money that's coming out I have to have, and it just helps me stay focused on the goal, be willing to get my ass out of bed sometimes and go to work, because sometimes, yeah, I've dealt with laziness before, and getting out of addiction has really helped combat that. And again, as I've talked about in this whole video, after that laziness starts to dissipate a little bit, it's a lot easier to go after those goals and dreams that one might have had, that one might have been dreaming about since a kid, and maybe they didn't happen, and that's why the drugs and alcohol started to come into life, because there's that trying to cover up the fact that the dreams hadn't come true. So guys, with that, I think we're gonna end the video today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, feel free to comment down below what your experience with debt and in correlation addiction has been. Subscriptions are always appreciated, and look forward to talking to you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.